Welcome back, everyone, to the Frum Health Club Podcast. I'm your host, Mendo Krashunsky, and here at the Frum Health Club, we believe that health isn't separate from our Yiddishkeit, it's all part of it. When we strengthen our health, we become better able to serve Hashem, our families, and our communities with energy and joy. Today, we are honored to welcome Rabbi Shmuel Chaim Naiman, a foraging guide, certified health counselor, and spiritual mentor at Yeshivat Lev HaTorah in Ramat Beit Shemesh, where he teaches a daily healthy Jew class. Rabbi Naiman is also the author of The Land of Health, Israel's War for Wellness, a wonderful book that I highly recommend everyone to get, and the writer behind the Healthy Jew newsletter, where he explores the deep connection between Torah, nature, and holistic well-being. Recently, Rabbi Naiman completed IDF training and joined the Israel Defense Forces as a reservist, a powerful testament to his belief that true Jewish health includes physical readiness, emotional resilience, and spiritual strength. Through his work, Rabbi Naiman helps Jews reconnect with the land of Israel, discovering the healing wisdom embedded in creation, and live in alignment with Torah values, health, mindfulness, and gratitude. His approach is both spiritual and practical, showing how caring for our bodies and our environment is a form of avodas Hashem. Rabbi Naiman, welcome to the Frum Health Club Podcast.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here with you. Thank you for that introduction. I've got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, thank you. So if we can start with our viewers, to get a little bit of information about you, like your journey and also some background information, as well as how you became a health counselor, as well as a foraging guide.
It's a long story, interesting story. It really began with my own personal journey, my own personal life. We're getting up towards winter, winter coming up, and I was one of those guys that was sick after winter for the first 25 years almost of my life. Regular respiratory stuff, and I was very often exhausted, stressed out, tired, worn down, anxious. And over the years, going back already many years, I found that eating well, eating real food in amounts that are reasonable amounts during meals really helped me find balance and health and wholeness. Exercise is key, crucial. I'm actually soon going to be doing a series about running, which is a bit odd. Like people like beginning of the winter, you're writing about running, like that's a spring thing. But I really think now's the time to start talking about exercise and running, because this is gold for building our immune system on a physical level, most simple level, and also wellness, being well on a deeper level. I found that meditation and even yoga, all sorts of these types of really great holistic grounded practices really help me find health and wellness in a bigger, larger way. So around 35, 6, 7 years ago, I wanted to add this mission, which Baruch Hashem has really been going well. Really been finding meaning and success to share my experience in a professional way to our community and to the world, the Jewish world at large. So I went to school for 3 years to become a certified health coach here in Israel and Yerushalayim. And a big part of what we were taught was herbalism, with the emphasis on the local Jewish Middle Eastern world of herbalism. That took us on a few foraging walks, and that really clicked with me, because there's just so much there in foraging. There's the eating well, because this is something we'll cover soon. The core of nutrition, for what I understand, both from the research and from my experience, and from our eating, will be to foraging walk. The healthier will be. The less it's in crinkly packages and cardboard boxes, and more similar to what comes off the tree, or from an animal for that price, and the animals eating things that came off the tree. That's also important. Then the healthier and more whole and happy will be. And we're also moving well, because the original core exercise is moving. I'm really into walking fast, hiking, running, going after the world, going into the world, looking for food, what we do in foraging walks, moving. we're not really rats that are supposed to crawl around on machines in a gym. And being a gym rat is great. It's certainly way better than sitting on the couch all day. I'm all for it, and everyone's got to find really what works for them, what works for each person. But there's a lot to be said for going out there. So those are really a lot of what we're getting in foraging. We're also getting a connection to the land, a connection to ourselves, becoming just a little bit plant-like, getting grounded in the world. There's so many metaphors to really live and experience there. So that's kind of a brief background for what Healthy Jew is and where Healthy Jew is today. And I'm really, really excited, really grateful for all the people that I'm able to reach in these ways, both online, content, teaching, foraging, walks.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you could tell us a little bit about the Healthy Jew class that you share that you teach at the yeshiva, where you are a spiritual mentor there. What does a typical session look like? What are you teaching these Bukrim about in terms of health?
So the Healthy Jew class is it's always a evolving process, because it really depends on who who's in the class, what their personalities and interests and learning levels are on. There are kind of two parts to it. There'll be the experiential part, which is what we were just really talking about.
Yeah.
We'll do a lot of learning about and then actually practicing eating healthy. Oh wow, ambulance coming in here. Looking serious. Maybe he broke the fence. Okay.
Live from
Well, so we'll
base.
what?
I was saying this is
Come
what
again?
this is. I was just mentioning to our viewers that you're live from an army base right next to Gaza. So
Yeah, we're
very real.
right outside of Gaza over here. I'm sitting I kind of commandeered the guard booth from the guys that are actually on guard duty. I'm not on guard duty doing a podcast, but I'm sitting in the booth. Got my gun here, fully on duty over here. Um, Yeah, so back to Healthy Jew class. So we've got the experiential elements we were talking about, doing healthy food workshops, doing running, hiking, a lot of just getting out there and in the middle of the night, seeing a hill there across the hill in the valley across Yeshiva, just climbing up it, seeing how it goes, and the path ends, keep on going. All sorts of things which are really healthy to explore and connect with the world, particularly Eretz Yisrael, which we'll get to. I assume why Eretz Yisrael is so much part of this picture, specifically, and we'll do meditation, everything. But I do find that when we're going to be getting past the, let's say, 4 or 5, 6 sessions of a workshop, then I want to get deeper and I want to learn the Torah, learn the background about being a healthy Jew in the broader sense, because being the everything we're talking about right now, the eating well, moving well, being well, is really where it begins. Like the Rambam teaches, the place where an animal becomes a human being, that switch, that turning point. What makes us actually human is when we're using our mind to guide our body for what will be good for our body. All of the philosophy and meaning and spirituality that all comes later. That being said, we need to get later, and it's important to have a healthy Jewish outlook and perspective on life in our faith, in our tradition, and what it means to be a Jew. That my spirituality is going to be something which is sensible, which is in my life, which I'm connected to. That I'm not just doing all sorts of empty, meaningless rituals. That's also a crucial part of what healthy Jew means to me. And so we learn a lot. We learn a lot of, particularly around the Rambam Sefer Hamada, which I really find is basically the book of being a healthy Jew, beginning with Yesodei HaTorah, about the principles of faith. And Yesodei HaTorah, particularly the Rambam, describes the world, the physical world, from a place of a person of faith, what it means to be living in this world, what it means to be a Navi. Prophecy isn't just some magic. It's something that happens in us as human beings, us, people. And then, of course, there's the Deos, which is about midos and healthy eating and exercise directly, and so on. Sefer Hamada is really at the core of what we learn and try to experience and live well in a deep, in-text, serious learning way.
Yeah, yeah, it's very special, and I think that every yeshiva needs a spiritual mentor that is talking about health, because when, as you mentioned, when you have a healthy body, you can learn better, you can serve Hashem with more strength, more energy. And there's many yeshivas, and like specifically going to speak about the Chabad world, but that there's no exercise there, and exercise is not even allowed. And I think that really really needs to change, and to be you know there should be some positive influence in that space to change things up. So
That's what we're here for.
yeah, yeah,
That's what we're here for. You and me. We're
exactly.
doing this,
Exactly.
Menachem.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Um, yeah, so I wanted to also ask you. So you, of course, recently completed IDF training and joined the reserves, as we can all see. What motivated that step, and how has that influenced your perspective maybe on health and discipline?
It's a very good question. So, what influenced this was, um, pretty obviously was the world we're living in after the 7th of October, 2023, where we all felt. I certainly feel like we need to be part of this. There's something major, something huge happening in the Jewish people in Israel, beginning with a tragedy, and then a conflict, and now we hope heading towards a positive, perhaps hopefully historically positive direction. And we need to be part of this. I need to do what I can to support Klal Yisrael, support Am Yisrael, support Eretz Yisrael. I can't just sit on the side and watch it. And I wanted to make a hands-on statement of connection with the entire Jewish people. There are so many people, many of my colleagues, my talmidim, my students in yeshiva also, who are really giving over years of their lives, many of them in very dangerous situations, to protect all of us. And at my age, in my situation, whichever way is possible, I want to be Mekadesh Shem Shemayim, really bring greatness and connection, bring Hashem's name into the world. Everyone will see that B'nai Torah, people who are learning Torah as B'nai Torah, we can be and need to be part of protecting Klal Yisrael. Particularly around the healthy Jew angle, the reason I didn't join it right away was, you mentioned about my book before. Really was October 8th. That was when I kind of woke up and said, "Hey, what am I going to do here?" So then, like we all remember, it was a bit of a different atmosphere. Then it was kind of like the people who already were trained, already were in the army. They got up, went straight to battle. A lot of people also joined right away, but there was a very strong feeling then of everyone kind of bring your skill set, bring what you're able to do. A lot of people worked in PR, a lot of people worked in all sorts of things. So after I consulted with my Rebbe, with my spiritual guide, my teacher, and that was where the first year and a half, I was really working on a lot of writing, teaching. I published my book around what I call the war for wellness. Besides the war for bodies and the war for minds, which is happening in the army and the media and in governments, there's also, how are we as people, as Jews, going to find meaning and be able to survive and thrive during these challenging times, instead of just kind of suppressing, escaping depression, anxiety. And there's two parts which I was really writing and teaching and working a lot on. There's how appreciating on a deep level, which is where Eretz Israel comes.
Okay, so your book, Land of Health: Israel's War for Wellness, definitely has a very
Great
powerful
book.
title. Yeah, highly recommended. Great book. So what is that war? Can you tell us a little bit about what is this battle that we're really fighting?
Yeah, it's actually particularly relevant now that we're hopefully kind of shifting into a new stage of really what's happening now that we're it's time for healing.
Yeah.
It's really related also to kind of what I was saying about how I really want to contribute. We want to contribute, be part of Klal Yisrael, be part of what's happening now in the Jewish people the last few years. So really, October 8th, 2023, I woke up. We all woke up and we're like, "This is historically tragic. What can we do?" And then there was very strong feeling around, and I certainly felt that also, that everyone's got to do what they're able to from their own skill set, their own background. So after consulting with my rabbi, I started writing a lot of content and teaching classes and a lot of posts about the chop that about what I was calling the war for wellness, because besides the war of bodies and the war of minds that are happening in the army and in the media and governments, there's also about our own personal lives as people. Are we going to survive and thrive through this difficult period, and find and that'll be meaning? This will be part of a bigger story, a bigger picture of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, or will we just tragically kind of suppress, feel, suffer from anxiety, depression, and somehow muddle along until it'll be over and go back to the regular thing? Every tragedy is also a challenge, an opportunity. So what I write about in the book is two key parts to this. The first thing is appreciating and understanding how the land of Israel is not just another country; it's the healthy body of the Jewish people, which is directly related to what everything we've been talking about until now. That the Jewish people, Judaism, is not just a set of nice ideas written in a book, a philosophy, a code of moral ethics. It's life itself. It's a way of living in this world with our bodies, and the Jewish people, as I explained there really in detail, and I even get into the anatomy of the land, that the Jewish people, the Judaism, Yisrael is a nation and a nation and a land, soul and a body. Together we make one human form called Yisrael. And the body of Israel is the land. So we appreciate how the land is alive. The land is the place where us being a Jew is grounded in this world. That's really our solution, because by wanting and yearning to connect to Hashem, to connect to all of everything what it means to be a Jew, to connect to Torah in our imperfect, making mistakes world of our bodies, that's how we find salvation and solutions to all of the results, all of the problems that we have from living as imperfect people in an imperfect world. And the second half of the book is a lot more practical, where I get into practical strategies for living well during difficult times, covering a lot of things. We talked a little bit about a real one focused chapter about a specific suggestion for eating well, moving well, being well during hard times. A chapter about prayer, about a very personal, experiential way of looking at prayer during hard times, and so on.
Nice.
Really important book. Highly recommend checking it out, especially now, because now we're in the healing stage of this. Like, what was going on? Now let's take a look inward and grow and reflect, connect.
Yeah, definitely. So we know, of course, the Rambam speaks about guarding your health, but part of serving Hashem. So how do you see that, like, in a practical way in daily life? How do we guard our health?
Everywhere. Like I mentioned before, I really see three key practical ways, and this is just really simple science and history. People have been saying this in many different ways for thousands of years. What we eat, it will affect our health, for better and for worse. How we move, moving well, eating well, moving well, and then stress, emotional stress is also a very big killer. It causes a lot of physical diseases. So even if life comes with stresses, and we also don't we don't always make perfect eating choices and moving choices. It's all about a process, a journey, growth. But if I need to be looking at my emotional, personal state. How am I dealing with the challenges of life? Those are really the three areas that we work on and grow in Healthy Jew.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk a little bit about foraging, and it's a very unique thing to do. It's not like a very, I would say, popular exercise or a popular thing to do, but I think it's beautiful, and I think it's like really a great way to get
It's
exercise.
getting very popular. It's the new thing.
It is. It is. Baruch Hashem. But what does it teach us about like health and really like spirituality? What can people expect when they do foraging with you?
So, like we already talked about before, how foraging is going to be a hands-on, experiential for all ages, around 4 or 5 and up, experience of eating well, moving well, being well. We'll also have, like we were talking about right now, all of that in the context of Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. We're going to be eating, and here's the key, the punchline. We'll be learning about and eating the same plants whose ancestors were eaten by our ancestors right here. So I really like doing my walks in places which are ancient cities, from Bayis Sheni, Second Temple period, even earlier sometimes, even from the first base of Mikdash, around the Emek Hayala, the area of David, where David and Goliath fought their battle, which really was a turning point in the history of what we've been talking about, of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. Because until then, as foragers, we really see that when we're sitting on the hills that are the border of the Harei Yerushalayim and Shvelat Yehuda. We turn one way and we see how the mountains are very brown because the water runs off. They're not an optimal place to live in. You got to have terraces, like there's a lot of ancient terraces you can see on the highways even. And then when you look at the Shvelat Yehuda, it's a lot lower, a lot greener. And that was the center of Jewish life for 1,000 years after David HaMelech. So we're usually going to be in a place either inside or overlooking Emek Hayala and living as Jews, experiencing in a deep way, living Jewish life in Eretz Yisrael, in that setting of how Eretz Yisrael really became our, not just our homeland, but life itself for us, our home body.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it's lots of fun. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, interesting, fun, enjoyable.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's not just like, a heavy, serious thing. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. It's beautiful. So I wanted to ask about maybe if you have any memorable foraging experience that, maybe left a deep impression on you that you want to share.
So many. There are so many. But I'll tell you one really recently. One recent one, a surprise from the last 2 weeks. There's a plant called agave, which actually it's not originally from here. It was brought here like 400 or 500 years ago from South America originally, but it grows all over the countryside. It's a little bit uncommon, but you could find it. It's around. And there are 2 agave plants. It's actually the plant, a cousin of it, is what they make tequila from. And I think even the one that grows around here, it has that syrup deep inside there. And it looks like a huge aloe vera plant, just like 20 times the size of an aloe vera plant. And there was 2 that grow right around the main place that I have, that I do a lot of my foraging walks. And recently, I hadn't been there for a month, maybe, because we were in America, and then I was in the army. I came back. I noticed the 2 huge plants were kind of wilting away, and there was this huge, really a flower. It looks like a tree, but it's a flower coming out of them. 2 of them, 15 feet tall, 20 feet tall, like a few stories tall. And this is the plant's flower that after it lives for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, as it's dying, it doesn't usually have flowers. Most plants have a yearly cycle, either as a plant, Borei Priya Adama, are the plants that their life and death go together. And then there are plants which are Borei Priya Eitz. They have their a special bracha because they're a taste. They're expressing eternity, that there's new fruits every year and the tree remains. But they're all yearly cycles, most plants. And that's usually the story of our life, that, like we say in the bracha, which now we started, Mashiach on, we say Mashiach Hashem. We continue and we say that Hashem is the King, Melech. Hashem brings death, life, and then there is the tzemach, the growth, the plant growth. That's what tzemach means, of salvation, life, death, and then there is Yeshua. Then there's the new growth of the new year. But this plant's different. This is a unusual, interesting plant. That this plant, it has a dramatic, once in a lifetime process of death and life. So I was really just experiencing with our foragers together. We were reflecting over Sukkot, over all of the Chol HaMoed, foraging, how there are times in history and there are times in our lives where where the cycle is not the regular set. We're used to predictable cycle of death and life. That there's big historic moments of tragedy, and in that tragedy, there'll be rebirth. There'll be something new will come out, and that's I think that's where we are right now as a nation, like kind of like a agave plant. That was a surprise, something I noticed recently and was reflecting on.
Wow, that's very special. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the healthiest foods that you could, find here in Israel while foraging? And I just want to add, I was on a hike in Britannia Park with my wife a couple of weeks ago, and I was just telling her like that on some of your videos, you come up to a plant, you like, rub it, and there's like flax seeds coming out. It's amazing. You pass
The
by,
nettles, yeah.
you would never think, but it's really fascinating to see that. But what are some like healthiest foods that you could find while foraging here in Israel?
Everything, everything. Like most of the stuff you'll get out there. Everyone's into like superfoods nowadays. There's the goji berries and everything in between, flax seeds. But all of these, most of what we'll find out there is going to be superfoods and more. It's a complete different world. It's not organically farmed. It's organic because it's growing from the real world. There are specific health benefits, but that's what I really want to emphasize. The most important health benefit of everything we'll find out there is that it's real food, and it's giving us an example, and it's teaching us what real food looks like. So whatever it'll be, there will be specific nutrients and health benefits in different plants, especially ones that have medicinal value and history, tradition to them. But that's not necessary. There's tremendous value, and the main value is just really it's healthy food because it's real food growing from the real world. Experiencing that hands-on. Some specific examples there's so many. I'm just thinking of ones that are out there like right now in our fall season, which is really wrapping up. There's a lot of berries out there now. Particularly, there's a berry called buckthorn, which was used historically as a purgative. It's not what we want to use it for. Nowadays, we prefer antibiotics for sick. But there's going to be a ton. Everyone's into antioxidants nowadays. I think you could get that. I'm not so into all these catchwords because if we're going to be eating real food, healthy food from the world, as close as possible to foraging walk, it'll work itself out. And the main place we'll really find our healthy food, because living on a foraging walk obviously isn't practical for most of us. Will be in the store, apples, oranges, and so on, cucumbers, tomatoes. Getting a variety of fruits and vegetables from your regular osherat or rami levi, whatever you got, will really be that'll make the difference so much more. That the difference between living that way, eating the healthy foods from your supermarket, and as opposed to the processed, crinkly packaged food from the supermarket, that's where the main thing is at. The foraging is a really great teacher, a really great mentor for how to live that way. So I was saying about the antioxidants. There'll be a ton of antioxidants in these berries. They'll be very healthy, giving us a lot of vitamins and minerals, which we might not find in such concentrations otherwise. There's fennel out there, tons of fennel out there now. The seeds, very long season, and fennel is a really great herb for digestion. Also helps for nursing mothers. That's one example. Carob is out there. Lots of great carob out. Carob is both a carbohydrate and a protein. It's really a whole meal. Chazal teach about Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, Rabbi Shmuel ben Yochai, that they even lived off of it because it's so healthy, so nutritious, delicious.
Wow.
Those are just a few examples of many more.
Yeah, definitely. But disclaimer for all the viewers: if you want to go foraging, you have to do it with Rabbi Naiman. Don't do it by yourself; it may be dangerous, right? You have to have a professional.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to.
Yeah. Don't try it at home.
Yeah. Don't try this at home. Okay. So you spoke about the importance of real food, So how can someone tell the difference? For many people, it's very difficult. There's a lot of packaging that say it's healthy or whatever it is, but in reality, it may not be so healthy or so real. So how can people understand the difference between, good, real, nourishing food and the difference between things like food like substances?
Yeah, it's a very important question. Something which I've written a lot about on my newsletter. I really like the approach of Michael Palin. He's got a lot of great books about nutrition to this, based on his perspective. It's not maybe not exactly in every detail, but there are a few parameters, which is really a lot of what we've already been talking about. The first thing, this is really Michael Palin's key way of looking at it, which is so true, so beautiful, that real food is going to be stuff that our great great grandparents would have recognized as real food, because we've gotten confused in the
Yeah.
world, the corporate world we live in nowadays, has really kind of just confused our basic core instinctive mother to child understanding of real food. But we're not so far that we can't usually pretty easily know that, hey, yeah, this would have been food, someone's real food 200-300 years ago. That's one really great thing. Another thing you already mentioned, a second parameter, is all the food label, all the labels, all the claims. The more claims, the less of a real food it's going to be. Just start looking at packages is amazing. The more it has to say that it's got this vitamin or that omega, the less it's going to be a real food. You're looking for vitamins and minerals, so fruits, vegetables, um, meat, fish, cheese, and so on. That's where you'll find our vitamins and minerals. Also, real food rots. Real food doesn't last forever, which is a key point to life. We don't last forever, and we want our food also not to last forever. So lasting forever, it's going to be something which is making it virtual, making the food into a YouTube clip that lives in the cloud forever. But we're not YouTube clips. And finally, a fourth parameter for real food is that you can read the ingredients and pronounce them. That I know it's in there. Not everything needs to be. I was giving examples of things which are very, very simple, but of course there are a lot of real foods like soups and breads and
Yeah.
even cakes and cookies, that are real foods. If I know what's in there and I can read and recognize it, then I'm in good shape. So those are four really good things that, again, for living that mindset of foraging could really help us to appreciate them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I know we spoke about this, but I want for our viewers to have a little bit more of like practical advice. So for people, the average from person, how can what are some things that they could start to feel healthier? There's a big topic in our group about not feeling like you have enough energy, feeling sluggish. What can people do with that as well?
About energy. So, well, what I already mentioned about eating real food is a really important beginning. That's
Yeah.
great.
Or-
Eating meals is also really helpful, when we kind of graze along the whole day. Even if it is real food, that can make us feel heavy because our digestive systems are not like cows. We're not ruminants that are always eating and always digesting. It's really good for us to have a balance.
Yeah.
It's all going to end up being really about balance, finding the balance between the extremes, the balance between being in the satisfied, fed state and the fasting state. Fasting doesn't have to be Yom Kippur in order to be a fast. This is something which I talk a lot about in my book also, because that's really what Eretz Yisrael teaches us. Eretz Yisrael is the land of balance. It holds all the different types of climates and energies. Everything is in the land. So finding balance in how we eat, when we eat, not eating too late at night, too early in the morning. That's really important. And then exercise. Exercise is really, really helpful for energy. Moving well, getting into running, getting into serious hiking, brisk walking. If maybe long hikes and running isn't going to be for everyone, a brisk
Yeah.
walk, half hour a day, is life changing. And then the final thing, I keep on going back to these three groups, because it really is all going to be organized. It's a really organized, practical way of looking at it. Stress is also very, very tiring. I find personally, for me, when I'm kind of having a weak spell, a quiet spell, low energy, very often it's because I'm stressed out about something, some change happening in life.
Yeah.
Those are some practical, right, ways of finding energy.
Awesome. So I wanted to also ask about how can families bring more, mindful, health oriented habits in the home, especially with kids. Here, I don't know how it is in Ramat, but the candy culture in Shoals is just like out of control. Like it's just
Yeah,
really
it's
really hard
terrible.
to control it. So what would you recommend for families that are looking to be healthier?
It's an important question. So first of all, we can't, and the truth is, don't even really need to beat the candy culture. I mean,
Mm.
it's impossible. Candy's there, and our children are going to have to learn. We will have to learn how to live in a world with candy. It's a lot of it is about amounts. What I'm always just so surprised and dismayed at the candy culture in Shul is that I get you're giving out. I get it that the kids come to Shul, give out candy. It's a lot cheaper and a lot more in the mindset of people to than fruits and vegetables or whatever thing you would bring there. Um, so you give out candy, great, but like, why 10 candies
Also,
when
the
you give
kids
out
might
one
stop
candy?
coming if we just give them fruits and vegetables.
Well, you never know if that would be what's there. Um,
Yeah,
but like,
we need a
why,
change.
why, why, why 10 or 20? Why not one?
Exactly.
What,
Yeah.
like, why does it have to be so much? Why does it have to be a meal? So we've got candies at home. I'll be honest, we've got plenty of candies at home, but they're high up. They're for special times. And there'll be a time like, well, when our kids will have one candy. I find it important, also helpful that not to get candy confused with, or all sorts of food like substances, what people call junk food, to get it confused with a meal. It's not a meal, meaning as much as possible. Again, maybe it's not always practical, but like it's not that if you eat the chicken and the rice and the string beans and the carrots, then you'll get the cake or the chocolate. It's a thing in itself. It's there. We have
Mhm.
snacks when we go to the park before Shabbos, whatever it is, and we have dessert maybe also. But I want my children to have awareness that it's on something which is in their consciousness, that real food is what we eat to be happy, healthy, and whole, and candy's also there.
Yeah. Do you think it makes sense to maybe buy better quality candies? Like there's candies that we order that are like organic from the States. Do you think that makes a difference?
I'm not into that. I think that you lose a lot more than when you gain with having organic candies, because
Really?
again, it's about our education. It's about chinuch. This is chinuch in midos, just like chinuch about not hitting your brother. This is about chinuch for our children, and again for ourselves. And if I'm going to be start getting busy with organic candy and the sugar is organic cane sugar, the health benefit, the difference is going to be marginal, and
Hmm.
I'll be having in my mind that this is healthy. This is the healthy stuff. And then sooner or later I'll find myself having a meal of healthy candy or organic cornflakes. Frosted organic cornflakes because the sugar is organic. Um, and yeah, it's all marketing. It's all, again, like we were talking about before, it's all going to be health claims. It's all going to be about the health claims.
Yeah.
So I'm not into that. Yeah, get the cheapest, junkiest candy you could find, because our children have to be. wi- There's there's risk factors from children eating candies, but there's also a risk factor of having food disorders, which is
Mm.
perhaps even more dangerous than whatever else could happen. So I want my kids to have a happy, healthy, balanced relationship. So for that, it's going to be really important for candy to be part of their lives in a way where the candy is the candy, and it's not something we obsess about and think about and get all get overworked up about it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think also, showing yourself as an example for the children in terms of, exercising, eating right. It also affects them. I've seen this hands on that, my kids, when my daughter told me she loves broccoli, I was like, okay, so something's going right here. This is good because they see that when the parents are eating healthy, the kids kind of organically start to also like it. So that's a big thing, I think, as well.
Tell me the secret for the broccoli when you have a chance. I want to hear how you do that.
I was shocked myself. Like when my daughter said that, I didn't expect it. We don't eat that much broccoli, but we
It's
do.
great.
We eat it once in a while, and she said it. So
Broccoli's great.
yeah, yeah,
The more
yeah.
the more food-like substances we eat, the more we get numb to real tastes. That's part of the
True.
trickiness over here, because it's
So true.
all everything leads to another. There's so many, even sour, salty, not the sour, salty jalapeno chips. I mean, like real different types of flavors, bitters. There's some really good flavors out there, and when everything is just sugar, salt, oil, sweet, everything has to be sweet and tense in a way which isn't real, then we get numbed. And the more we'll be able to appreciate different types of foods and flavors, the richer our lives will be on every level.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so to close things off, if you could just summarize for us, what does it really mean to be, overall a healthy Jew, both in body and in soul?
So we the practical manifestations of healthy Jew we really covered in great detail. This is a great conversation. Uh, Maybe one thing which I didn't emphasize enough, I'll kind of wrap up with and
Hmm.
circle around to is the idea of balance. Balance in every way, body, mind, spirit, soul. There are always all sorts of things pulling us, pulling our minds, pulling our hearts, pulling our bodies, desires, distractions, and that's where unhealthiness will come from on every level. And we'll find health by appreciating and living in and coming to respect, want, love that the nuance, the middle, where I'm not too much. I'm not always in movement, in life going out, in effort, in doing. I'm not always in eating, life coming in, taking,
Yeah.
pleasure, taste, and all of that. I'm in both. I'm in the middle, and it's like that spiritually too. I'm not living high up in the heaven in some abstract, theoretical, feels really, really holy type of world. I'm not enmeshed in materialism, in money, prestige, pleasure. I'm in the middle. Combining. I'm settled. I'm grounded. That's where peace comes from. That's where harmony comes in our life. That I'm part of a bigger picture. That's how I really get out of myself, get beyond my small self in a way which will make me truly whole. My myself in the limited way is always going to be going to one or another extreme. I'll find balance and I'll appreciate balance, and balance will bring me to being part of a bigger world of the Jewish people, of the Jewish land, and of the entire creation.
If someone would like to work with you as a health counselor or maybe go foraging on one of your tours, how can people contact you and start?
So it's all at healthyjew.org. Really easy to remember. There you'll
Okay.
find out about my foraging walks, about links to my book, and signing up for my newsletter. You can also, anyone, feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, complaints directly by email to contact@healthyjew.org. And let's be in touch.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. It's really been a pleasure. And want to wish you lots of atzlacha with all you're doing. Your message and everything that you are teaching is very, very important, very crucial, and impactful. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. It was great being here together today.
Thank you.